Hello traders, so this section is all about Sierra Chart installation, and you would have noticed that I've given a template for you to download and install there. But what I thought would be great value add for you guys is for me to discuss a little bit the whole platform space and actually the whole backend infrastructure space. I'm not going to go into massive depth now, but it is a very big space. Like with most things in trading, I'm sure in the retail space, things are made to appear very simple and straightforward. You just, you know, pick a broker, you get a platform and start trading. And again, that's done to get you to trade very quickly. What you got to realize, guys, is in the professional space, there's many steps between the exchange and the end user, i.e., yourself, and ultimately that platform, and there's competition in each of those spaces. So actually it's a great thing. I'm going to show you in a second. It's going to possibly freak you out a little bit and you go, oh, there's so much for me to decipher and pick and choose, but take it positively. Unlike the forex space where it's incredibly proprietary and secretive in terms of order flow and what you can see and competitive pricing and so on. I mean, it's got better over the years, but it's still a very grey area. In the future space, one of the ways they've managed to get it so competitive and open and transparent is by opening up all the steps between the platform and the broker, and the exchange, and allowing competition to come in and provide services in each of those spaces. So I'm going to quickly show you that. Then we're going to quickly compare the platforms, and I'm going to show you why I prefer Sierra Chart. But I want to show you others because I want to be transparent. I want you guys to be able to have the choice. You can pick any platform you want, really. Do some investigating, go on Google, so on and so forth. So let's do that, and I'll see you on the next slide. Okay, guys. So as discussed, we're going to be looking at the platform space, but as you can see, there's various steps in infrastructure before you actually connect the exchange to the platform. If we quickly remind ourselves of, you've got your participants here, you've got the exchange in between them, and yes, they provide the ability for us to have an open marketplace and prices to be determined purely by supply and demand of investors rather than other factors, as you sometimes see in the spot market. But the point is, the data in terms of the transaction and volume and flow that I said all retailers have access to now, the same as the institutions do, it doesn't just go straight into your platform. There's various steps involved. So whilst this is going to be all about platforms, I want to introduce you to this. There's good and bad news. The good news is this shouldn't even concern you for the next 2 months. I just want to lay the seed in your mind so that when you do get to this stage, you're already thinking about it. The bad news is, like I said, you're going to eventually have to tackle this. But like I said, it's good for you. There's competition in each space, and that's a good thing. So let's just start at the top in terms of the exchange. What you got to realize, guys, not only one exchange, there's several exchanges. There's European exchanges, obviously there's exchanges in the US, and really you'll have to choose, but it will be determined by what you want to trade. So if you want to trade the S&P 500, you're going to go with the CME because they provide the most liquid marketplace in the S&P 500 futures contract. NYMEX, you may have heard of them. They typically deal in commodities, so crude oil. Currencies are very liquid, I would say, to an extent on the CME. You've got Eurex, who do things like the DAX and the Bund. So, but we're not really interested in those. But if you were, then you would choose those exchanges. So again, it's not really a choice you have to make in terms of exchange. It'll be more a choice of instrument. So that's not that big a deal. Now, to deal with these three, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how it all works very briefly, because what I've noticed is when I started in this space, it was so confusing. There was nothing on the internet, and there still isn't. I'm struggling to find anything that shows how it all comes together. If you're a professional trading firm, great, you've got all this information, but you, as someone new to this space, guys, there's nothing out there. So that's where I hope you see where G7FX can add some value to you, and why I'm doing this, because I want to just give you an idea of what is going on in the back end space. It's really going to help you as you progress in your career to start thinking about these things at some stage. And also, I don't just want you opening up a platform and giving you this false pretense that your platform straight to the exchange, the kind of way the retail space makes you believe, because they want you to believe that. The reality is there's a lot of steps, but it's good for you, because I'm going to show you how you can take advantage by doing research and, taking advantage of the fact that there's competition in each of these spaces. But to do that, let's see how between the exchange and your platform, it all comes together. So I'm just going to put these initials here: order routing services, data feed services, brokerage services. So I apologise, I've got my dog in the background again. She's a very old lady. I do apologise about the noise. But the great thing about this is a lot of it is what it says on the tin. So here you've got the order routing service. What that does is it literally does what it says on the tin. They help you route your orders. So if you're sitting there on the platform and you're hitting buy and sell, or you've got pending orders and so on and so forth, they allow these orders to be routed to the exchange and make sure that they're done in an efficient manner. Then you've got data feed providers. Again, exactly what it says on the tin. The exchange is providing data. Now that data needs to be put into packages, filtered or unfiltered, and then put into your platform. So that's what data feed providers are doing, guys. And then you've got the broker. Okay, that's what you're familiar with. Very similar to your own broker. Provides a deposit taking service where you can hold trading capital, provides administrative services in terms of profit and loss, making sure your account statements are correct at the end of the month, your balances are all done, you're aware of all your transactions, they're all listed for you, and you get statements and so on and so forth. What they don't do, which you see in the Forex space, is they don't play around with the bid offer. That's given to them via the exchange. So like I said, 100% transparent marketplace. And therefore, that's why these three services can and do tend to be quite linked together. They're almost one service, but you'll have different providers providing different ends of that execution service. So you can almost think of this entire piece as execution, right? It's just that they've broken it up for you so it can be made ultra competitive, transparency, and give you choice, really. So think of it as a good thing. Then obviously in the platform space, you've got choice as well. So just to go over this again, guys, you've got order routing services. These can be provided by a bunch of different providers. Typically, when you choose a data feed provider, so again, don't allow this to, when I got it, came in first, it was so confusing for me, and I wish someone had broken it down like this. I had to kind of just learn myself, but don't overcomplicate. Don't think it's overcomplicated. It's not. It's literally just an execution service bundled, but broken out. So if you think about it, your orders need to be routed to the exchange. So you'll have a company that you can choose to do that for you. You need data from the exchange. You'll have a company that can provide that to you. Now, typically, a data feed provider can provide order routing services, or that will be arranged via the data feed provider. Or similarly, it's very typical for a broker to arrange. It may not be the broker itself. In fact, it's not going to be the broker itself typically. That has an arm that provides data feed or order routing services, but they'll arrange this for you. So they'll package all this up for you to make sure this all happens. But it will be different companies typically doing that. So to give you an example, what do I do? Well, my broker is a company called Dorman. Okay. Now I could have chosen any company. There's loads out there. Dorman's great. There's some other big companies out there, Interactive Brokers, AMP, who I've also got an account with actually, so you could say Dorman and AMP, both great. Data feed, I use Sierra because they have started to provide data feed services, which is the platform I use, as you know. But I also use CQG for data feed. I've used Rhythmic in the past, CQG, okay. And then all the routing services, I use TT and CQG as well. Okay, so CQG is for my Dorman account and TT is for the AMP account. So again, this is all arranged typically via one or the other. So yeah, my brokerage kind of arranges my data feed, but my brokerage, as you can see, is Dorman. Yet they use CQG for data feed and they use CQG for the order routing. My other broker is AMP, but my platform is Sierra, who provide the data feed for my AMP account, but use TT as the fix. So it sounds like it's a little bit overwhelming, but guys, a lot of this stuff will be arranged for you by, typically your broker. A lot of people have started to break out their data feed provider for whatever reason, one or the other. So, you're open to do that. And I may actually do some videos in the future about how best to go about making the decision. But I just wanted you to know essentially that between the platform, which is what we're looking at now, and the exchange, there is this whole world of execution broken out into three services: brokerage services, data feed services, and order routing services. The main ones you'll encounter in your career as you evolve is data feed and broker. So let's say, for example, you're happy with your platform and you decide, so Sierra have a free trial. If you decide to continue with Sierra because you like them, you can continue to receive obviously the delayed data. But if you decide you want live data, broker I don't need to worry about for a while, because you shouldn't really be trading live futures anyway until your account is at a huge size. You can use the data, as you know, to then go and trade the spot market on your retail platform. But eventually you'll want real streaming data, so it's live in the moment. But I don't want you to have that until you're familiar with depth of market and obviously all the things we talked about in the previous modules. So the main next decision you're going to have to make is data feed, but that shouldn't be for another 1 or 2 months if you decide you want real streaming data. And at that stage, depending on if I get questions, I might be put a video out there. But the great thing nowadays is Sierra Chart provide their own data services and they kind of make that easy for you. I don't want to really overcomplicate things and explain how or why they make this all easy for you. But essentially they do help you to bring this whole execution step together. But I just wanted to make you aware of this. Now we're going to go straight onto the platform space. Hope that was helpful. Maybe just revisit this in a couple of months when you come to evolve into the next steps in your journey as a trader. Alright guys, go on to the next slide. Okay traders, so now we're going to get into comparing platforms. But I hope you can see why I did the last slide. I didn't want to create this false perception that it's just a matter of picking a platform and you're away. Eventually you will need to look at those other back-end infrastructure steps, and I just wanted to tell you that you can use that to your advantage. We see so many times in the retail space that you're given this false perception that it's just a retail platform and bang, you're away, and that's all you need to know. And actually, the reason they're doing that, as I've said many times, is they just want you to trade quickly. There's so many things that you can use to your advantage. Like I've shown you, there's different companies providing different back-end services that you can make sure that you're using to your advantage. But again, that's for later on in your career. At this early stage in your career, this is really important that you pick the right platform and the right tools. Now, I just want 100% transparency. I'm going to suggest to you that you go with Sierra Chart. I get paid nothing by Sierra Chart. I get no benefit out of you joining Sierra Chart at all. I'm more than happy for you to join Ninja Trader, Jigsaw Trader, Investorati, any of these guys. It's up to you. I'm just giving you my own impartial opinion based on having used pretty much every platform here, why I think they're the best. And to do that, what I've done is I've pretty much broken everything down into categories. But first, it would be useful if I actually say, so the way I've listed these is, at least in my experience, what I see people using them in terms of the user base. So this typically tends to be the retail user base. This typically tends to be both, so retail and professional. And then this typically tends to be professional. So I'm going to put pro here, and then here is both. Okay, now you've got to be really careful. When I say retail, I don't mean retail in the traditional sense of the Forex spot market retailer. Futures markets, like I said, the beauty of them is they're pretty much no differentiating factor apart from size between institutions and individuals that want to come into the space. Do you remember on the depth of market, the supply, if you decide to place a pending order? Guys, if you place it before an institution, you're going to be first in the queue. Institutions don't have a competitive advantage over you apart from obviously size. So when I say retail here, all I mean is individuals using the futures market space. So guys, I know individuals that are incredibly profitable using some of the more retail oriented platforms. So don't think that it is a case of, oh, the pros are using these, so I need to. In fact, in my opinion, some of these platforms are actually better than what the institutions are using. All that's really happened is individuals who are obviously very good at programming skills and creating platforms have realized that there are individuals, trading individuals in the professional space, and they wanted to create competition for some of the more professional providers of platforms. So that's all they've done, is they've opened it up and made it more affordable. And like I said, that's the great thing about futures, is in every back-end infrastructure space you see, be it obviously the order routing, the brokerage, the data service providers, and so on and so forth, and now here the platform, there's competition, guys. It's great for us. What it means is these guys who have come into the space have really pushed the professionals in terms of the type of tools. So to give you an example, things like the volume profile, etc., that I use, these guys, Investor RT and Sierra Chart, guys, they've started blowing the professional providers out of the water. They've got some real clever guys who are developing the tools and making it available at an affordable price. And it's even better, and I'm going to show you how. So to do that, let's try and break these out into categories. So the kind of categories that I think are important is obviously the tool, so depth of market, the DOM, profile tools. So that's market profile, volume profile. Then we've got charting, right? Customization. So we're going to go through all of these, and I'm going to tell you, having used pretty much every single one of them in depth, which one I feel was the best. And then we're going to look at support, which is incredibly important. If you have platform problems, you want to know that the platform provider is going to fix that quickly for you. And then cost is obviously incredibly important, especially in the early part of your career. When I tell you how much some of these platforms cost, you haven't got that sort of money. You don't want to. It's a waste of money to be throwing that around, especially when I say some of these platforms. You're going to be shocked when I tell you the price differential, and that, in my opinion, having used all of them, some of these are better than the professional trading platforms. So let's start with NinjaTrader and look at some of the strengths. It's basically basic in the sense that it's out of the box. You can just start using it. You don't need to do much. There's a lot of, and you'll notice this, I want you to do your own research as well. NinjaTrader has a lot of third-party companies that provide bolt-ons. So for example, and this is kind of a downside I found when I was first in the future space, and I was looking around at platforms, looking at NinjaTrader, and I tried it for a little while, especially when I became an independent professional trader, is it was kind of, sorry, and I've put out of basic there, should have put out of the box. That's what I should say. Sorry about that. Out of the box. Yeah, so they didn't really have much in terms of volume tools. I was relying on others. It's not very customizable, the volume tools. There's a lot of things you can customize in here, don't get me wrong. But I just didn't find it that easy to customize things, and I just felt I was always relying on third-party bolt-ons. I couldn't really build my own tools the way that I wanted. So it's great if you're just getting started, and things will be just like I said, out of the box, ready, good solution for you. Pretty competitive in terms of costings. It's anywhere from free to, if you want the best out of it, they charge a lifetime license of about $1,000. So, you know, you're talking between 0 to, I don't know, let's say average is about $50 per month. But like I said, a little bit too basic for me. In fact, funny enough, Jigsaw have come in as a competitor to TT in the depth of market space. So they provide a real brilliant dome actually. So what I first did is I was using NinjaTrader and using Jigsaw as a bolt-on for the depth of market. So here it's ease of use, I would say. So in each of these, I'm going to give you what the advantage is, competitive advantage. Here, depth of market, excellent. But as I've said, you know, when I say in the course $1,079 value, guys, it's because Jigsaw, who provide a similar depth of market to what I've custom built in Sierra for you guys, go on their website, guys. You'll see it's all there, fully transparent. They're charging you $500 plus, I believe it's about five something, maybe 579 the last time I checked. So 1,000, almost $1,100, you know, for the use of their depth of market in a live environment. So you're looking at anywhere between, depending if you want to use it live, you know, approximately $100 a month, give or take. So that's in terms of the costings. Right, so let's have a look at cost there, and then obviously the advantage is depth of market. But again, they don't really provide volume profile and so on and so forth. So let down by that. Like I said, you'd have to use two at the same time, and the customization, again, in my opinion, is not very strong. TradeStation I haven't really used myself, but I know people who've used TradeStation, and very, very strong on certain aspects in terms of customization. So I think that's the number one aspect of that, but pretty weak in terms of depth of market. Volume profile isn't great on there. Now here, guys, I've used Investor RT for a while because really they're very, very strong on volume profile, market profile. Volume profile, market profile, but not great on the depth of market and customization, in my opinion. Obviously people have different opinions, but I just found it difficult to make little tweaks. So what happens is, as you evolve and you become better at using certain techniques, obviously you want to make tweaks, don't you? I just felt that it was more difficult for me to make tweaks there, and that's why eventually I moved on to other platforms. But in terms of the cost, so here it's anywhere from, you know, they provide brokerage services, so depending on what you take from them, anywhere from $0 to $100. Investor RT is, I believe, about $100. This is per month. Okay, guys, and I'm going to come back to Sierra Chart. CQG, guys, is basically the king of charting. They've got decent other tools. Part of the problem with CQG is, I believe it's anywhere from $500 to $600 a month, guys. So it's a decent platform for charting, but didn't really find it that great for anything else. Charting, if you're only doing charting, but I would suggest you don't. I would suggest you look at volume analysis, and I just didn't find it that good for all that stuff. Yeah, they provide it, but it's not great. And then, so like I said, these guys are the king of charting. TT are typically the king of the depth of market, but they're charging anywhere from $700 to $1,000 a month. for professionals to be able to use, and they've got a very good depth of market. But in my opinion, the one I've built on Sierra Chart is just as good, if not better. I find it easier to customize. So look at the prices, guys. Okay, now having used the majority of these, I want to show you why I then moved to Sierra Chart. Now, what I love about Sierra Chart is that they essentially excel in pretty much everything. So if we just recap the others and look at in terms of criteria, every platform, to be fair, excels in something. So when it comes to depth of market, Jigsaw and TT, are obviously industry leading. Profile, Investor RT is very, very strong in the volume profile area. Charting, CQG is very, very strong. Customization, you've got TradeStation, which is really, really good from what I've been told at customization and so on and so forth. And then the costings obviously more in this end than the professional end. As you see, the costings are much more reasonable here. But in my opinion, having used all of these platforms are just as good as CQG and TT. So I think these guys are stuck in the past, if I may say so, a little bit. Dinosaur era. They need to really realize that, there's better platforms out there now for a fraction of the cost. But what amazes me, and I feel like I've struck gold with Sierra Chart, is, guys, their depth of market is just as good as Jigsaw's and TT's, in my opinion. You can do exactly what you want on it. You can trade on it. You can customize it. It's better, in my opinion. You can customize it exactly how you want it to be. Volume profile, never used a better tool in my life than what I've seen on Sierra Chart. Just unbelievable how you can customize this thing. This will make more sense as you become more experienced and start to tweak with things. Right now, you're just going to have to take my word for it. But yeah, you're more than welcome to obviously experience that for yourself. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be slow progress as you dabble in different things. That's just normal, guys. It's going to take time for you to experience this for yourself. Right now, you're obviously relying on an experienced person like me. So obviously I'm just going to tell you, based on my experience, what I think is the best in terms of all these criteria. And for me, having used all of these, guys, country mile ahead in terms of volume profile. Sierra Chart. Charting, fantastic. Just as good as any of these platforms, even CQG. There's nothing I can't do on Sierra Chart that I can do on CQG. Customization, just really, this is what I've had to say at the start. I'm not being paid by these guys because it's going to sound like I am, because I'm literally in awe of just how amazing this platform is at customization. And in a way, it's kind of its weakness as well, because when I first, with the majority of these platforms, you can pretty much get started straight away. The problem, but the beauty of Sierra Chart is it's a blank canvas, guys. When you first open Sierra Chart, you'll notice, it's pretty much a blank canvas. You've got to build everything from scratch. But at first, I was like a little bit like, oh, I don't know if this is for me. But as I started customizing, because it forces you to really develop your own tools from scratch, I started realizing, wow, not only is this an advantage to me because I can customize things to my own style, taste, personality, but I can also tweak things. The more I learn about the market, the more sort of nuances that I want to build around volume profile, depth of market, my chart, so on and so forth. This gives me the power to do that. So for me, I've yet to see anything that allows the level of customization across all the different tool sets that Sierra Chart does. And then finally, guys, just as important, support. Unbelievable support. I've had issues and they've introduced them into new versions or requests I've made. Can you make this tweak, that tweak? Done very, very quickly. And then unbelievable, guys, is really, why I have no hesitation in recommending them to you is the cost. And I hope they're not watching this, because at the end of the day, I just can't believe how fair they are in terms of the pricing. Now, I've got it written down here because I haven't actually done my pricing with them for a long time. I renewed it last year, so I've forgotten exact. I knew it was very cheap, but I've forgotten how much it was. So they charge $36 a month, and this is for their. You'll see they've got different service levels of packages in terms of the tools that they give you. For every single tool they offer, i.e., including the volume profile, market profile, so on, $36 a month, guys. And if you pay for a year, which is what I do, $302.40 works out at around $25. Guys, $25 a month, and in my opinion, you're getting the best depth of market, the best volume profile, the best charting, the best customization, the best support, and for $25. Guys, pretty much the cheapest platform out there. I know, it's unbelievable. So, guys, I just wanted to let you know my own experience, and this is over years of having tried all of these. And to cap it off, they give you a great free trial, I believe, for 2 to 4 weeks. So you sign up for the free trial, try them out, guys. I got no problem with you trying. I think a lot of these guys do offer you free trials. I'm not sure about CQG. I think they offer you a trial on a sort of dubbed down platform. But the majority of them will give you a free trial, I think, at least with delayed data or so on and so forth. So you're free to try them. My experience is that if you stick with Sierra and, just get used to the fact that it does require some learning and customization, which is going to be a bit painful in the first month or two, in the long term, it's going to pay dividends, guys, because you're going to be able to, I'm happy to give you my templates. You can use them, but I would suggest play around with them, especially if you want to evolve into the future space. You'll be able to tweak, and over the coming months and years, you'll be able to do a lot with this platform that I don't necessarily think you can do as effectively with the other guys, and definitely not for the price. So look, at the end of the day, guys, I got no problems, with the sort of size I'm trading. I got no problems spending $1,000 a month on a platform. But does it make any sense when for $25 a month I'm getting a platform that is better than the one that's charging, $600,000, even $100? I'm getting it all for 20. So why would I do that? It's throwing money down the drain, and I'm not getting what I want. So anyway, I hope that's been useful. And it's about the third or fourth time I'm going to say this. No affiliation to Sierra Chart. I get no benefit for you signing up with them. I have no links, affiliate link, web address that I can send you, that if you sign up through that I get. No, guys, sign up with them independently. You don't even have to tell them that I recommended them. So totally 100% impartial opinion based on my experiences, that I think they're going to be the best for you. But also wanted to say, look, there are some decent options out there. You're more than welcome. And yeah, good luck with whatever choice you make. But do this, give them a free trial, see how you like it, because all my templates are on there, and see how you get on. Any questions, you're obviously more than welcome to ask me, and I'll try and put some more videos out in the future about all of this stuff as you grow as a trader. All right, guys, hope that was useful. I'm going to do a quick final video just separate to this to show you how to load the template that I've given you, the chart book it's called, into Sierra Chart. All right, guys, see you on the other side.